Welcome to another episode here in the Blue Sofa. We're going to dive into a topic we actually talked about before. I think it's episode number 2, and that's energetic alignment. And alignment in business, and how to know when you are in alignment and when you are out of alignment, and how to realign yourself, your energy, your message, and your actions so your business actually starts flowing again. We are going to talk about what alignment feels in business. Alignment being the inner work, the how to show up in your business, being authentic you. We're gonna talk about how you recognize when you are in misalignment, both because I want to inspire you to feel into what alignment feels like for you when it comes to, for example, choosing strategy or taking action in your business so it doesn't lead to burnout. And we're also going to talk about simple ways to bring your strategy. Like, we know strategy is so important. I love to talk about it too, like strategies, systems, the how-tos. But we're going to talk about simple ways to bring your strategy back into harmony with yourself and with your energy and with your authentic, like who you are and what actually lights you up. Also, we're going to talk about how alignment becomes one of the most powerful business strategies, actually. So we have, of course, all the normal business strategy, but how can we see alignment as just as important as the how to get clients, how to launch, how to sell, how to market, how to be visible, how to create products, and so on and so on. So that's what I want to dive into with you today. I'm actually really excited because I think this is a topic that we could and we should explore way, way, way more, because it's gonna look a little bit different from person to person. And even for me, I remember when I started my business, I was, of course, very consumed with the how. Like, how do I even get clients? How do I sell? How do I create sales pages? How do I create content for social media? And I was like looking around, and as you do, because you start searching, right? You have this dream, you have this vision, and then you start searching for answers to how to get there. Like, how do I climb that stair, right? So I was just looking around, and at this time, remember, this was back when, I think this was in 2011, 2012, and there weren't a lot of business gurus. There weren't a lot of people who were giving advice on this, but those who were, of course, like amazing, but way ahead from me. So I was observing them, and I was looking at all the things they did, and they made it look like it was so easy. It was easy to like juggle all the things. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna be like on YouTube, on Facebook, doing Facebook ads. I'm going to have a newsletter. I'm going to have like a cheap product, a mid-tier product, a pricey product, and a VIP product. So I'm gonna have all of that. And I was like, let's do it. Like, just, get to work. Let's do it. But I never questions what is for me. And I never questions how does this look like? Like, what is actually for me of all of those things? And how does that look like for me? How do I show up authentic? How do I show up in a way that feels nourishing to me, for example? There was like questions I never asked myself because I was so consumed on the how, like how to get there. And I remember having one of those launches where I did, everything looked perfect on paper. I did all of the things. The emails were beautiful. The strategy was like rock solid, and I was exhausted. I felt so heavy. I was not excited. And I felt so much pressure, didn't have this, where you create something and you feel like high on excitement because it is so excited, and still you can be tired afterwards, not like exhausted, but you can be like, yeah, I've been partying all night long and today I'm going to rest, because that's balance, right? That was not one of those things. I was exhausted. I was like, I felt I had to be somebody else to be in this launch in the right way. And at that point, I was starting to question, am I really like cut out to this? Or is this how everybody's feeling? Because I remember I was thinking, I stopped working in corporate because I didn't like the pressure, right? And I needed more space to breathe, basically. And I wanted to create something that came from inside of me. And suddenly I felt I was back in corporate again, like everybody else would, like, not everybody else, but other people were dictating like how I should run my business. And I was just like, yeah, of course, let's do it. And I was being exhausted because I didn't feel I was there. And what I realized was that, actually after years, so I was in so much resistance at this point. I was resisting looking at and feeling into the truth of the fact that I was running my business and doing business in a way that weren't necessarily good for me and aligned to me. And I was resisting that. So that's one of my flaws, basically, is that I'm very loyal. It's a good thing, but I'm very loyal, and I'm very much, if I say A, I'm gonna do A, and if I say B, I'm gonna do B, and then it's gonna be C and D, instead of like just stopping for a moment and thinking, what feels right. So I was resisting change for a long time, and because of that, doubt started to creep in. Like I was like questioning, is this the right path for me? Is this how it's supposed to be running a business? And so on and so on and so on. And I felt, do you know why you feel like not enough? Because you feel like, if this is how I'm supposed to run my business, then I'm never gonna be good enough to do this, because I always have to do things that I really do not love doing. And this is where it kind of clicked for me, because I was like, something is out of alignment. It cannot be that I'm the creator of this. I'm the creator of the business. It's my vision out there. I'm like running this business because I want to contribute, because my purpose is to do these things, right? So there must be a way for me to show up in a way that feels nourishing to me. And what I found was that in every pillar of my business, like that being visibility, that being product development, that being customer service, that being, delivery, that being sales, all the pillars that we have that's the pillars, the foundation of our business, I was out of alignment. When I looked at how do I do this? Like the house on delivery, for example, the house on visibility marketing, right? The house on selling. It was all out of alignment. I had chosen strategies because I saw other people do it. But when I felt into, is this something that is something I really like to do? It was a no. I didn't love doing it. What I found over the years is that all of these pillars in business need to, we need to be visible, of course. Like, we need marketing. We need to sell stuff. Yes, we need to produce products. Yes, of course. And they need to be relevant for the market, right? We need to deliver. We need to lead a team, if that's what we have. Need customer service and so on. Like, these pillars are given. But how we build them, that's for our creativity and that's for us to choose, basically. And that's where we go back to alignment. And my problem was that I thought, I'm gonna be home safe in this business if I just do what other people tell me to do. And the moment we think that, we cut the cord to our inner compass. Like, our alignment is out of the door. 2 seconds, it's out of the door, right? The moment we say, what do you think I need to do? We ask an expert for that. An expert cannot be in our shoes, cannot feel into our compass, cannot feel into, how would this look like for me in the right way. An expert can tell us how they did it and what they are an expert in. And that is invaluable. That is amazing. And we want that. We want that. but they can never be the one making the decisions. It's a little bit like asking an interior designer, what color do you think would be nice in my living room? And they'll be like, well, specifically, I really enjoy red. So I think red would be really, really amazing in your living room. And in your stomach, you're like, I hate red. I really do enjoy blue. But you say nothing because she's an expert, right? And this is where we need to take back our power and need to first of all, understand that you are the creator. You are the one feeling into what would be amazing for you. Do you like red on your walls? Or do you like blue on the walls? We need walls, yes, but we get to design it, right? And the moment we allow other people to be anything else, anything other than inspiration, and for us to mirror back and mirror into ourselves, what would be nice for me? Could I see myself in this? We lose touch with ourselves. And it doesn't mean don't get a coach or don't get a mentor or don't hire an expert. It just means never, ever, ever leave your authority, your decision making to somebody else. Allow that alignment. We're going to talk about it in a second. Allow that alignment to kick inside of you before you make decisions, right? And choose someone who respect that. Choose someone to help you who respect that. Like I said, for example, in Rising Star, my mentoring program, I give the tools that I have used. These 6 pillars in business, I share what I do, and I share in a more general way how the walls are built, but you get to build them the way you want to build them. And I will cheer on you. I will hold the space for your alignment to kick in so you can feel, okay, visibility. What do I need to know about visibility? I need to choose a platform. I need to talk to a specific person. I need to bring my authentic voice into this visibility platform. But how I'm going to do it is going to be me blossoming, flower, like a flower into this state of being so I can show up and be visible and attract from my authentic voice and not because somebody else told me this is a good thing to say this, right? And this is what I hold the space for always, because that unfolding is it's your inner magnet and compass that are drawing in the right clients when it comes to, for example, visibility, right? That doesn't mean that I won't share, for example, in client attraction, I won't share my automatic system, because a lot of us are drawn to the same strategies, right? A lot of us are drawn to the same way of building our walls in our business because it gives us a specific outcome. So for example, when it comes to client attraction, I love automating my client attraction because that allows me not to have to show up on Instagram all the time. It allows me to be a little bit more laid back in my visibility because it's automated. And a lot of people like that, or some people like it. And a lot of people also really enjoy, for example, posting and creating stories on Instagram because they give them a sense of community and they like it. So again, alignment look different when it comes to client attraction, one of the main pillars in business. And this is what I want to talk about. So let's dive into how does alignment show up in business? What does it look like? And we're going to talk about the 4 layers of alignment and how this brings the inner work and the outer work of business together, right? So we have 4 dimensions of business alignment. And the first one is energetic alignment. That's your inner state. And this is your foundation inside of you. It is where your nervous system, your intuition, and your emotional energy are aligned, right? So when you are aligned energetically, you feel grounded. You feel certain. You feel certain within yourself and calm, and you trust yourself. And you move from inspiration instead of fear, right? And this state of inner being, this energetic state, you can create that. I'm very passionate about this because it is the foundation for everything else. The moment we start making decisions from fear, from lack of trust and confidence and calm, this is where we know I'm out of alignment. Energetically, I'm out of alignment. I love to promote this state. Of course, we need awareness. We need to know I am allowed to spend 90% of my life in this state. This is a very potent state. When I coach people on energy, it is always to get them back into this stage. We have to get back into the state of being energetically aligned, because this is where our attraction, where the law of attraction really starts to kick in for us. And this is where we can start to create way more conscious instead of on default. So there's a lot of work going into this. Is what we do a lot of time in the Soulful Empress, is like really getting us back into this state of being, because this is where we have, I want to say, we are in control is the wrong word, but do you know what I mean? Where we are in our power and we are sustaining ourselves, and we create from a place of very, very potent and powerful energy, and not like constant hustle and scarcity and fear and all that stuff. So before you make a decision, then pause a moment and feel your body. Does it feel like is it contracted or is it expanded? Do you feel that excitement? Are you like, hell yeah, this feels good. Like this is good. Or is it like something is not cool here? It doesn't sit well with me. And that feeling tells you everything. So that's what you have to listen to. And that's where you need to decipher what does it actually mean, right? And that's like for a whole other story. And I think this is why alignment can be a little bit tricky, because you need to learn a new language. Your body's language, your soul's language, your heart's language, your intuition's language, right? And not just like the mental or the more mental intelligence, right? The next one is mental alignment. This is where our mindset and beliefs live. And this is where our thoughts basically are. And our thoughts has to support our vision, not sabotage it. This is really important. So aligned thinking sound like this. This is right for me. I'm ready. Misalignment thinking sounds like this. What if it doesn't work? What will they think? What if I fail? Like, this is not the thoughts that we want to encourage in our mind. This is not the thought. Really, we want to encourage thoughts that are generally super supporting. Like, you are worth it. I am worth it. This is right. I can do this. I know I can do this. That kind of thinking we want to promote in ourselves. And again, this is actually something we have control over. It's quite crazy, but we have so much more control over our thoughts than we think. And master your thoughts and you will master your life in the capacity you want to. So what is authentic to you? Doesn't mean like we have to be high achievers. That's definitely not what I'm saying. I'm just saying when we master our thought, we get in contact with our heart, we get to create something that is authentic ours. And I think that is wonderful. So you can maybe reflect a little bit here. What stories are you still carrying around that actually keeps you from trusting your next level and trusting your next move in your business? When your thoughts, emotions, and energy all point the same direction, clarity is a given. And I think this is so important. Clarity is not something we wait for. It's something we create by aligning our thoughts, emotions, and energy. And then it happens, right? And it's being created as we move in life, as we start with this, the two first stages of alignment, right? Okay, then we have strategic alignment. This is your actions. Your strategy, if I could install this belief in you, I don't know, I would be so happy. I would be like, I succeeded in life. If I could install the belief that your strategy must serve your energy, not drain it. Oh my God. Your life is going to be so amazing. And your business is going to be feel so much more effortless and easeful. So your strategy must serve your energy, not drain it. Meaning your offers, your content, your launches should reflect what's alive in you. And for some people, what is alive in them is not what is alive in them last season of their life. And that means you are allowed to pivot. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to feel into this thing that I thought was the best strategy for me. I outgrown it. And you're allowed to toss it. Because your strategy should not drain you. It should serve you. And alignment in action actually also means that you stop forcing timelines and start trusting timing instead. I see this a lot. And I've been like wondering how to create a podcast around this, like how to actually trust your timings. And if you have a great idea or, a title that would be like super catchy or something that you think would really work to talk about when it comes to stop forcing timelines and trust timings instead, like go to Instagram and DM me, because I would love to know, because this is something it's like brewing in me. I want to share. So it's super clear what does it mean. That also means that if something feels heavy, it's probably not the right action right now. Or if it is, or it could be the right action, but it's not the right time. I want to repeat that because this is a way where you can really feel into if your actions are aligned or forced. So if something feels heavy, if an action feels heavy, it might not be the right action. Or it could be the right action, but not the wrong time. Not the right time. That's what I'm trying to say. So it could be the right action, but the wrong time. This is something, again, you want to encourage and cultivate yourself to feel into the truth of your own inner timings. And it can be so simple. It could be so simple. So choose one strategy in your business that really feels like flow, not friction. Like something that feels like this is the right action and the right time. And this is where we get it wrong. So we think when we bump into, like, again, the foundation is right here. Our energy is aligned, emotions are aligned, our thoughts are aligned, and the action still feels wrong. Then it is your job as a business owner and as a creatress, to feel into then what could be an aligned action. Like, show me an aligned action. Because no matter where you are in life, there is an aligned action. There is two big fat, puncture marks here. There is always an aligned action. Always an aligned action. And there is always a right time for that action. And that's your job to feel into. So choose one strategy, like feel into it now, choose one strategy, one aligned action that feels like flow and not friction. This is the clue you're looking for. The last dimension of alignment is what we call embodied alignment. This is the way we lead. Alignment become visible when you live your message. Actually, I want to share something with you. I don't know if you remember, but I went to Munich. Is it a month ago now? Probably a little bit more than a month ago, to a workshop where we talked about creation. It was actually a workshop about energy, right? And about essential oils as well, like how essential oils are supporting our energetic, our aura, energy, whatever. It was very, very, I love Munich so much. But I took away a lot of things from that workshop. And one of them was that our voice holds our embodied frequency. So our voice, when we use our voice, we can send out the embodied frequency, like the frequency of what we have embodied in our life. So embodied alignment is in our voice. And that makes, excuse my friends, a lot of a difference to know that and to use it in your business, in your visibility. So when you show up in visibility, you share your embodied truths. People can feel it and they resonate. That's why visibility is a lot about resonance, way more than like the how-tos. The how-tos are important. You're never gonna get me to say that it isn't. But the resonance is in your voice. So get out there, use your voice, because that's where your embodied alignment actually lives. Isn't that absolutely amazing? So alignment becomes visible when we live our message and our mission, right? When we are here, we embody our alignment, right? We no longer need to prove anything because we just are. We are what we are, right? And leadership is soft but powerful and rooted in our truth, right? So instead of like forcing, pressure, manipulation, like all of out of integrity stuff we see in business a lot, aligned embodiment, we don't do that anymore because there's no need to. Because we are using what we embodied through our life, through the last season of our life, through struggle, through hardship, through triumph, through success. We embodied it and now we talk about it. And that's what's resonating with people. That's how we draw people in. That's how we magnetize our clients, for example, or that's how we create products that are aligned, aligned embodied products. And that's why they work, because they are our truth. And this is where our contribution, we monetize our contribution basically. So it's not just about doing aligned things. It's about being an aligned female entrepreneur and letting your business be a proof of that. I love that, right? So letting your business be a proof of that alignment. And this is where real magnetism happens, right? Because other people feel you before they even know why they feel you. This is what we do a lot of in, again, the Soulful Empress. It's a little bit more, I don't want to say advanced stuff because it's not. I would love if this was something we were taught in kindergarten, but it's not. So here we are, 40 something, right? And I have been like, I had to teach myself to be able to make that vision I had within me come true in my life and live what I believe is a authentic life for myself, right? Anyways, just to wrap this up before it becomes like a TED talk, we have 4 dimensions of alignment. And when our thoughts, beliefs, actions, emotions are all moving in the same direction, that's where we have like energetic alignment. This is where everything moves into the same vision, right? Business becomes very, very simple. Very simple. This is where clarity lives. This is where aligned actions live. This is where ease lives. So I want to invite you to just reflect a little bit. Where in business do you feel confusion? Where do you feel forced? Because this is where we know something is out of alignment. Is it your thoughts? Is it beliefs? Is it actions? Is it emotions? Is it like your energy? What is it that is out of alignment in these 4 dimensions? And how would it feel like if they were in alignment, right? And then also I want to encourage you to come back to that clarity, come back to that alignment, because that's what gives you the clarity before you take action. Remember, clarity is not knowing. Clarity has nothing to do with know something. Clarity is about feeling this is the right direction and I'm going to take that direction. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm going to take it either way. That's the clarity we're looking for. So also I want to remind you that alignment doesn't mean there's no effort. It doesn't mean the absence of effort. And it does not mean the absence of a challenge. Like, it's normal to be challenged. That's how we grow stronger, right? It just means that it's effort that is directed by truth, your truth, and your authentic way of being. And that is what is important here. So if you like this episode, be sure to give it a 5-star review, share with all your other female entrepreneur friends. Also, if you want to learn a little bit more about some of my programs, I have linked Rising Starter Masterclass for you right under here. You can dive into it. I talk more about the 6 pillars of business. I can also recommend listening to episode number 2, where I also talk about alignment if you want to dive a little bit more into this topic. Anyways, that was all for me today. Thank you so much for being here in the blue sofa, and I hope that your day is gonna be amazing and aligned, and that you have a very nice week. See you.